Welcome back to the Kick and Post YouTube channel and podcast with your host Jamal Thompson and Matt Avila. Welcome to Teal and Steel episode 9.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back.
It's been a minute. Welcome to one of the last regular season Teal and Steels as well. It's been a fun one. Today we like to hop into Steelers talk, Jags talk. Big week ahead of us, week 18 of the NFL coming up. A win in your in vibe, pretty much for both teams, except the Steelers need a little bit more help. But let's break it down a little bit. There's been a lot of things that have transpired since the last time we recorded. How's your Steeler boys looking?
I mean, biggest change so far has been Mason Rudolph starting the past couple games. But overall, man, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we need the Bills to lose, and we need to win, obviously. Also, we could use the Jags losing, and then we win. That would also work. Hoping for both of those to happen. Sorry, Mr. Ermel. But, I mean, overall, as a team, it's been an interesting past couple weeks. You know, Kenny being out, Mitchell Trubisky getting benched, Mason Rudolph getting his opportunity to kind of do what he can. And surprisingly enough, we've actually looked better than ever this whole entire season. The two games that Mason Rudolph started have been our two best offensive games. And for multiple reasons. I mean, for one, the running game has been there. I mean, last game, Najee ran for over 100 yards. Jalen Warren ran for, 50, 60 yards. Game before that, same kind of concept. But also Mason Rudolph just playing good football. You know, we were watching some film earlier. Is it the most flashiest in the world? No. But he's getting it to his playmakers. He's giving them an opportunity to make some plays. And he's very decisive. You know, he isn't holding on to the ball super long. He's getting it out. So, and because of this, I mean, George Pickens has had two of his better games these past couple games. We had almost a 190-yard game by George Pickens, silencing the haters. You know, there's been a lot of, he's been under our microscope the past couple weeks. He's been kind of showing us what he's about, and I've said it before. You know, it's kind of tough. It's tough to evaluate George Pickens. It's tough to get mad at him too much because I get where he's coming from. You know, you don't get an opportunity. You have a historical bad offense. I understand. Doesn't excuse the things that he's done. But I'm glad to see him get back involved into the offense, get an opportunity with somebody like Mason Rudolph actually giving him a chance. And yeah, everything's just looking pretty good right now. You know, I was telling him earlier, I don't think that we need to do much in the playoffs. I mean, I don't think we're going to go far anyways. But we can definitely be a team that can cause some problems for whoever we face in the first round, and be a playoff team that can actually do a little bit of something. But also the big thing is I want to see more about Mason. You know, he has a 2-game, you know, we see him for 2 games. We have a 3rd game coming up. I would like to see him in a playoff, situation.
Bit of a playoff run.
See how good is he? Is he going to be our bridge quarterback for our next one? Or do we want to see what he can do maybe in the future? I don't know if he's long term. I'm not going to go there yet, but he's looked better than Kenny. And then also we could also start Kenny if he's healthy in the playoffs. And hey, here's your chance to kind of show us one last time. Hey, that you could do this, and see how he performs. But you know, we have some options there. So I'm actually wanting to go into the playoffs, not really to kind of win a Super Bowl, but to kind of have some more time to evaluate our players and see what we can do. So, but overall, man, it's been good. Happy so far.
I'm happy to hear.
What about your Jags, man? Tell me about
them. Inconsistency as usual.
You sound so sad, man.
Yeah, I had hopes for bigger things for that team. We lose Christian Kirk, I think, essentially for the year. Evan Ingram did his thing. I could see him ending with 1,000 yards.
See, he's looking like I was number 1 right now.
He is. Him and Calvin Ridley are almost tied for yardage at 880. But we need a big performance out of one of them or both of them this week against Tennessee. Shades of last year. Tennessee in the last week of the season, winning you're in. That's exactly how it's set up last year. And again, Tennessee's in a rougher spot this year, same like last year. And you can't, no foregone conclusion, but this is probably the best case scenario we could have hoped for in Week 18. You know, avoiding the Houston team led by C.J. Stroud that seems to give us problems. Avoiding the Gardner Minshew-led Colts with JT back healthy and Michael Pittman potentially playing this week.
Is Teal playing?
Uncertain. but I'm leaning with probably yes if it's a win in your in situation. Calvin Ridley project, far from a failure. He's had games, but
Definitely not failure.
definitely didn't live up to the hype yet.
Yeah.
We have a lot. It's first year. I'm kind of working out, continuity and knowing each other and how we're going to utilize them in general. But I will say, going into the playoffs, if we make it into the playoffs, it'd be a home game if we win the division, which is the only way I think we get in right now. Because if not, we could easily get knocked out. I think the scenarios we'd have to hope for is a little bit too much. But home game, again, like we did last year, against quite a few competition with question marks. We could end up with a Miami situation. We could end up with I think we could end up playing y'all as well. We could end up playing a few teams coming up. And I think each of them have deficiencies that we could take advantage
I think,
of.
yeah, best case is you guys face us in the playoffs, but
I don't think that's best case because we played
who
you
do you
guys
think?
before.
Who do you think us? Who would you want to face then?
If I could straight up pick my opponent right now for the playoffs, shoot.
Who would you want to face that gives you the best opportunity to that can actually realistically get in? Like, would you want to play at Bills?
No.
Would you want to play maybe a Chiefs? I don't know what their record's looking like. Yeah,
They won their division.
They won the division. So y'all still have a chance to win your division, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really.
I don't know if there's anybody who want
I don't know if there's anybody that easy. I really do think. I think you're giving us a little bit of credit, but Steelers are probably the most feasible when we look the worst.
But we played y'all before, and you guys have seen us before, and you guys gave us a little bit of issues on defense the first time around, and now this time it's the second run around.
I'm definitely gonna make a statement because y'all are playing a little dirty too. So
here we go.
We're gonna be on that ass.
You guys are upset about the referees and all of that stuff, and you guys would play with a lot of, I feel like, vitriol. It'd be a bad team to play in terms of like.
Yeah, right now that Jorge gonna.
Yeah, Jorge, didn't get the best calls either in the world. There's a few factors on why I wouldn't want to play the Steelers.
I get all that, but I still think that for a team that
Miami's not the most. I wouldn't mind playing Miami.
Miami might be another one because Miami doesn't seem to. They don't have it figured out.
They're not healthy too.
They're not healthy. They don't play well against good teams, and they've just been very inconsistent this year. I mean, every time they play a team that's pretty decent, they just don't seem to really show up.
Yeah, they got Waddle out potentially for the year. Both their edge rushers, Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, went down now.
And I think Xavier Howard got hurt again.
Xavier Howard's hurt again. Teron Armstead has been in and out of the lineup. He's out currently.
J-Ram's pretty good, but I mean, you can always just go to the other side at this point. So.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert had to miss a game. I think it's just to get healthy, though, but knee and ankle injuries. Again, you have Tyreek and you have Tua. And against our secondary, if they have enough time, Tyreek could go crazy. But, yeah.
So you think Miami is probably the better one to play right now?
Yeah, you could probably catch him on, again, dealing with the injuries and stuff. And their offensive line is struggling a bit. And Josh Allen, again, having a crazy year, 16.5 sacks. Trevon Walker, developing a little bit more.
Coming to his own, yeah.
Yeah, it could be an issue for them.
Yeah.
And I think we have a decent enough linebacking core to deal with the running backs. Devon A-Chain is a little bit scary as well, too, though. But I don't know. I just feel like with what we came into the season looking at the team and the expectations and stuff like that, we didn't really execute well.
It was definitely disappointing a little bit, but I mean, the thing to remember is you guys are still in a pretty good spot. It's about who can get into the playoffs,
and get hot.
And get hot. So if you guys can get a nice commanding win this game, you guys had a nice win last game. If the Steelers can get a nice win this game as well, because I think we go against the Ravens, and it's supposed to be, I think, like a lot of the
starters sitting out.
The stars are sitting out. So if we can get a nice little commanding win, feeling good into the playoffs, yeah, I mean, anything is possible at that point. For you, for us, for any team that goes into the playoffs.
Just get hot.
Yeah. I think that's one of the problems with maybe Baltimore sitting out. People do that almost every year, and we've seen it go sideways because they go into it kind of cold. But
I just think the style of play they have in general, though, they'll be okay.
They'll be okay. Yeah.
The defense, I feel like, is just so they're clicking on all cylinders. They're so gritty.
Lamar's clicking too.
Lamar is clicking at the right time.
He actually got weapons to really kind of utilize.
Which I think we're still overstating the weapons. Zay has stepped up a bit, but Rashad has been super inconsistent. Isaiah likely looks good.
I think that, with Mark Andrews at the beginning of the year, but obviously he's out now, and then you have Zay Flowers really coming into his own. OBJ's had some good games in there. Bateman's even had a couple good games in there. You have plenty of people that, okay, if Bateman's not doing too well this game, okay, let's step up to an OBJ. OBJ is not having too much, maybe Bateman. Zay Flowers has been more consistent almost every game. He's kind of a go-to for him, so. He got weapons that he can actually kind of like play around with. Last year and a couple years before that, he didn't really have any options.
He did not. So. Yeah, I don't know. Leading on to the Ravens though, if you had to pick a team right now to win the Super Bowl,
I mean, I don't want to just go with everybody else's answer, but I really do think we're looking at a Ravens and Niners type team. I mean, like I said, get into the playoffs high. Ravens have been doing that. If you look at their record and who they've played, I mean, they've beaten a lot of great teams. The Niners, they played pretty well against. I was looking at it earlier. Shoot, I forgot. But they beat, I think, Miami. They destroyed, and a couple other teams that had winning records. They've done really well. So them, and I think maybe the Niners maybe get their get back. They have a really good team in general. I'm also not completely canceling out like the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
These are the type of teams that people like to kind of count out, because they haven't played too well the past few weeks. I think the Eagles are like on a 5-game losing streak.
Or lost 4 of the last 5 or something crazy like that.
And I know I was saying that you got to get hot into the playoffs, but there are a couple teams that, if you can just get your players, I mean, you have the roster.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs, you got Patrick Mahomes. You got Travis Kelce. You have Andy Reid. Like, you can figure something out. Mm-hmm. And then going over the Eagles, I mean, you got Jalen Hurts. You have probably one of the best wide receiver corps in football. DeAndre Swift out here taking ankles. Like, it's just, like, you have some pieces. I mean, Darius Slay out there. That secondary is terrible, though. But
Darius Slay's out for the year, though.
Oh, he is? Oh, yeah, their secondary is washed. But,
yeah.
These are the type of teams that I'm not going to count out fully either. So,
I don't know who. I'm leaning Ravens. Dark horse team, though, I was mentioning to you earlier, is the Rams. They've been there before.
You were mentioning the Rams. They have been there before. They got the experience.
They got the coach. They got the all-star defensive tackle. They have solid wide receiving core as well. I mean, Demarcus Robinson's been stepping up for them. Puka, Cooper Kupp. Kyron Williams has been a pretty solid running back for them as well. Again, it's just about getting hot at the right time. I feel like they can score with almost anyone. It's just about what they can do on the defensive side. So, Not saying they're like a lock. I'm just saying I was a non-believer for a while, but the more I watched, the more I look, and I'm like, they got potential.
Yeah. I think the AFC is definitely a toss-up a little bit. Besides the Ravens, you're looking at a lot of teams that are still scary, in my opinion. I mean, the Bills are still scary.
They got to make it, though.
They got to make it, but I think they're scary. I think the Browns are pretty scary as well.
I think Miami beats them to keep them out, though.
If the Bills lose, they're out.
Well, they need some help, but
because I thought the Bills had a good enough record to. The thing is, there's a lot of teams in the AFC that have good records. I mean, my Steelers might end up 10-7 and not make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. They need some help.
But even then, like even if they fall in, I think they're still a pretty scary team. People like to joke around about the Bills, but I don't joke around about them. I think they have a top 3 quarterback in football. I think they got a top 5 wide receiver, so I'm not going to count them out. The Browns as well. Talk about getting hot. Joe Flacco out here just slinging it, taking naps on the sidelines.
Yeah,
like he's. You seen that?
Where he was dozing off against the Jets.
Yeah, Sleepy Joe. So those are 2 good teams. I think the Rams are also in the question. I hate to say it, but I think the Cowboys. I don't want to say that they're gonna win it, but at the same time, they have been looking good. They were supposed to lose last game though versus the Lions, but it is what it is. They still have a good roster. CeeDee Lamb, second place in receiving yards.
Mm-hmm.
Tony P not doing shit.
He's not. He really isn't.
People were talking about Dak Prescott winning MVP. I mean, they have some pieces: Micah Parsons, Deron Bland. They're a team that I think is pretty scary.
Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, they're a scary team to face.
They're a scary team to face, but it's just something about.
It's just the Cowboys, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at some point they do need to defeat that moniker of when they get into the big games, they'll drop it.
They
But
like to just fold.
but the Niners are in their division. I mean, conference. I think the Niners have their number, personally. Um, so that's one thing. They'd have to make it to the Niners some way somehow. Um, and I think they'd struggle with a team like the Rams too. I think they'd give them some problems. I don't know. A lot to hold. We got to see where the seeding sits after this week.
A lot of good teams this year, I think.
Yeah.
Teams that, I mean, there's not a lot of just exceptional teams. We only have like a couple, like the Ravens and the Niners, but even the Niners have looked bad at times. No, clear people, I think, other than the Ravens at this point. But
And even the Ravens, I think there's been a recency bias, but they have put together two good games offensively and defensively, where beat the Niners 36-19 or something like that, then beat Miami 56 to, I think it was 19 as well. But before that, we've seen the offense struggle sometimes and get hot at other times and struggle sometimes, and you get into the playoffs, and Lamar has had his struggles in the playoffs. So
yeah,
I don't know. If I had to decide my Super Bowl right now, I'd go Baltimore, and I think for some reason I just think it's going to be Baltimore versus the Rams in the Super Bowl.
I really believe the Rams. I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, the NFC, I wouldn't say is the strongest. I mean, if they, the Bucks might be the one that comes out the South, I think.
Yeah.
So whoever faces them,
it's the Bucks or the Saints. The Saints could get it still, I think.
I think that between the two, either way, though, I mean, they're both kind of on the same level. Yeah, we'll see about the Rams. We'll see. They definitely have pieces. They have a roster that could potentially give people some problems. So.
Yeah. Any surprising storylines this season? No, 1 week away, but anything that you saw pan out that you're like, oh, that kind of was nothing I didn't see coming out of left field at all, or things that you expected to happen that you're like, oh, person really, really stumbled this year.
I mean, I think one of the most surprising ones to me is Puka, we were talking about earlier. The fact that he's top 5 in receiving yards. I mean, shout outs to him. He's having an incredible year. Happy to see the Lions really establish themselves as a team as well. I know people were kind of hyping them up before this season, but I'm glad to actually see them take that step and become an elite team. I mean, like I said, they should have beat the Cowboys last week. They would have been, I think, a 12-4 team or something like that.
Yeah,
which is pretty amazing. When it comes to stumbling, I think the Bills are still a little disappointing. I know we were just kind of talking about them. I'm kind of disappointed in the Dolphins as well. They were supposed to be a really elite team, and they started off the year so hot, and now we're talking about them potentially missing the playoffs. I think that's pretty disappointing. Who else? Yeah, I think there's just a couple. I'm going to keep thinking, and I'll let you know any other surprises. What about you?
The Jags. On the disappointing side.
A little bit.
The Steelers kind of ended up where I expected. Not how I expected, but where I expected.
I think the hows and the specifics is not what I expected, but the record was pretty close to what I expected. So I was expecting like a 10-7 kind of 10-7 kind of thing.
Obviously injuries involved, but they weren't playing well before Joe Burrow's injury anyway. But the Bengals are a bit surprising. The Rams, a good surprising. I thought they'd be a middle of the road team. They've been a little bit above average. Who else? The Bears.
Yeah.
They're about to have 8 wins. I did not see that coming. I thought they were going to be very bad. Who else?
I think Jordan Love was a nice.
A
nice addition. I think that the Packers are feeling pretty good about what they got. A little inconsistent, but I mean he's pretty much a rookie. I know he's not. I think he's 33 years in. The first year as a starter, so that's always looking pretty nice.
A lot of pressure too, following up on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think another disappointing one was we talked about the Steelers, but I'll throw Kenny in the mix.
Yeah,
Kenny and Deontay. I would have said Najee, but after seeing the past couple games, we're good.
Back, yeah.
We're good. But Kenny was a very big disappointment. I mean, we have Mason Rudolph coming in, and I appreciate him stepping up, but the fact that he 2 for 2 has better performances in any of Kenny's games is a little disappointing. Yeah. I think also I'll throw Joe Flacco out there too in the Browns. I mean,
yes.
who would have thought that Deshaun Watson would have? I mean, people did think that Deshaun Watson wasn't going to play great. Some people were haters, but rightfully so. But anyways,
he flamed out too.
But he also flamed out. They didn't play very well, but the defense kept them in games and helped them win some games. Now Joe Flacco's in here,
looking
amazing, and they're probably going to be a tough team to face in the playoffs. Just because that offense is clicking now with Joe, and then that defense is stout. So
and Joe has that playoff experience too.
Yeah, and then players. I think we talked about it, last time we recorded, but you got the Tony P's that really haven't played very well. The Josh Jacobs. I think that's another one is the Raiders and Devontae Adams. I know they've had some exciting games this year, but overall, just very disappointing. Devontae Adams going over to this new team. Jimmy G is probably the biggest disappointment of this year. Someone that they thought they were going to be serviceable for the next 3 years, maybe a bridge quarterback, but hoping to also kind of be pretty good.
Hoping to lead them to something.
Yeah. But he just led them to a losing team. That's about it.
Until he lost his job.
And I hope that they keep that. I like the head coach. I saw him come out with the black Air Force Ones, and I'm like, yeah, y'all should keep.
Yeah.
That's just Raiders.
The Raiders. I was about to say, knowing the Raiders, he fits the image, but I don't know if he's big enough of a name for them to really push for it.
They needed to say F that. I mean, he's already, for the past few weeks, the black Air Force Ones, the way, you can tell the players love him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can just tell. So I think if you want to win games, and he may not be, maybe in the future you could move on from him in a couple of years, but I think for right now, I think he fits.
Just bring him right back. I feel like you don't need to overthink it. Just keep him.
Yeah. You don't need to bring in somebody, because every time you guys bring in anybody, it just doesn't work.
That's a fact. It's been ugly every time.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, the Jags. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a complete disappointment, but I think if y'all miss the playoffs, I think I almost would consider it a disaster year.
Yeah, if we miss the playoffs, we have a lot to reconsider, and I think if we make the playoffs too, it bails us out a little bit, because we had questions asked about the draft. I feel like we didn't invest our assets the right way. Tank Bigsby is probably the worst draft pick we made in a very long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Not just based on it being running back and him not performing well, but we took him really early.
Wasn't a need.
I didn't think it was a need.
Because now you can clearly see what the needs are in defense.
We have Dearness Johnson still there, out touching him. We have Jermichael Hasty still there. We could have just kept those two guys. Add somebody else from the free agent pile.
And we all know that.
And
I hate to say it, but the running back position is the easiest to replace, let alone a backup running back position. You know what I mean?
And you spent the pick on a running back that I wasn't even really high on as a performer coming out. I thought he was just going to be a Jag, right? Just a guy, not like a Jaguar.
Glad you cleared that up, because I was like, what are you talking
about? Measurables didn't blow me away, especially performance-based. In the SEC, playing for Auburn, he had okay stats, but on tape, he just didn't look like anybody that, third-round pick need to be attained on the roster. I feel like there's other directions we could have taken that. Bretton Strange, not a bad pick, but again, we have other needs.
Yeah.
Parker Washington's been great filling in for Christian Kirk, but up to the Christian Kirk injury, wasn't a need. Now we look at an offensive line that we're going to need more guys, and I hope.
Offensive line, it's that secondary definitely.
The secondary was doing good turning over the ball early in the year, but they played kind of for bust if they're not creating turnovers or we're not creating enough pressure for us to get turnovers. Anytime there's time for the quarterback, they'll carve up our secondary. So we got a lot to evaluate. Even if we do make the playoffs, we'd have to get on the hottest of runs to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just very unlikely now, especially with us not being that healthy, especially at the quarterback position. We have Trevor on one leg, one bad shoulder, and a concussion. It's been a rough few weeks for Trev. But if we are to make a run, we still have a lot of questions to ask of this team going forward.
But the thing is like, all can be forgiven. If you go out there, Trevor gets someone healthy, wins his next game, gets in, wins a playoff game like y'all did last year, there might still be some questions, but you guys might be able to dodge some of the hate. Because y'all been under the microscope a little bit. Not as much as maybe some other teams. It's not too bad for you guys, but some people are kind of bringing up the question. Is this a legitimate team? Is this a team that's actually going to be a contender? You might be able to silence some of those things with the playoff win, depending on who y'all face. But
I feel like when we make it to the AFC Championship game, that would be all is forgiven.
yeah, 100%.
Which there's a track there. There's a potential if we win our first game, and if we get matched up with the Chiefs again, and I'll call it now, on January 2nd, if we get matched up against the Chiefs again, we'll win that game. That would be our fourth time, I think, in 2 years. And all 3 matchups have been super close. So, I feel like we could definitely get the Chiefs. Unfortunately, I think it would be an Arrowhead again, though. But
it would be tough. I mean, like we were saying, the Chiefs, and I also put the Eagles in there. That's a scary team to face because the roster is just there. Definitely some problems. There's definitely some things that need to be worked on, but just based off of a team that's been good for a long time and has superstar quarterbacks, you just don't want to face them first. So
you don't. So we'll see. We'll see how a lot of this shakes up. A lot to be answered after, though. We'll definitely get into some draft coverage and stuff like that. Look at some prospects and guys we like. But we're going to go into fantasy talk a little bit now. Shouts out to Bobby Woods. First year, the Teal and Steel Dynasty League. Comes in with the W.
Really thought Jacob was going to pull that one, man. It's tough to see because it was like within 5 points, I think.
Yeah, it was a close one.
Really close. So
Jacob's team did perform well in the playoffs. We gave it a lot of credit preseason, and we weren't far off.
It wasn't, and it was unfortunate because I think he was one quarterback away from winning that. I think he started the wrong quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that you did it on anything bad. I mean, it was a tough decision. Sam Howell or I forgot who the other one was. Maybe it was like Jared Stidham or something like that. Yeah, I probably would have started Sam Howell too. So it was. But the thing is I know that he got benched,
and then
he had to get. Then he got the start. So
yeah.
It was a tough call because we were talking about backups.
Yeah.
So he had to just pick his poison.
Yeah.
Let me show. I'll tell you the options. So Sam Howell just put up 10 points. He lost by 5-ish points. Tyrod Taylor was the one that could have won in the game. If he would have started Tyrod Taylor, he would have had it. If he would have started Jared Stidham, maybe it would have been close. I had to do math.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Sam Howell, anytime he's played this year, I mean, he puts up points. I mean, he's had 20+ points games, 30. Come on, he had a 40.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, the reason why he was getting benched is because in the last few weeks, and those performances have left a lot to be desired.
True. So you're telling me you would have started Tyrod Taylor?
I had a similar situation. I was in a league, a final, and I had Sam Howell on my bench. I ended up going with Derek Carr. But I picked up Tyrod, and I had Jaron Hall picked up. I wasn't going to start him, but I picked him up. I think I picked up Jared Stidham as well. But if you had left me, like, say, Derek Carr was going to get benched, I would have started Tyrod over Sam Howell. Because I had Sam Howell the whole year. I was starting Sam Howell a lot of the year.
I think it's... I get what you're saying. It's a tough call, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know, I'm sure Jacob probably had a long, moment there where he was thinking about who he should go with. And I probably can see his vision. I'm going to pick the guy that's shown it.
Was leading the league in passing for a while.
He's shown it. He's proven it. He might be trying to fight for his job back, that kind of thing. And yeah. I see the vision. Which is where we're going with it.
Yeah. Just didn't work out as planned.
Yeah.
Bobby had some good performances out of his players. Shout out Null001 as well. Beat me in the third place game. Never watched football. First year playing fantasy. Got his money back, so that's what's up.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. He's a G.
Yeah. Fun year.
Who won in kick and post?
Chris.
He did?
Chris won the league.
He won the black and yellow.
He won both, yeah. He won the league.
How much money does he get from you?
$650.
He gets $200 from me.
Yeah.
Man just walked away with like $850.
Yeah. He had a great fantasy season.
I did not.
He gets a embroidered hoodie too. In that league. Yeah, so he should be designing that right now. We should come up with something for the Teal and Steel League too. Off camera. We don't want to really put it on camera yet. We'll come out like with some trophy of some sort or something for that league because we want that one to continue. Going into this year, I've already decided I'm cutting down on my leagues tremendously and just focusing on the ones that are connected to our content. So I'll be doing Teal and Steel. I'll be doing kick and post. I want to up my fantasy content, but I can't be in 20 leagues anymore to do that. I got to really lock in and play the waivers a little bit more aggressively and stuff. So
I'm actually in the opposite as you. I pretty much neglected, fantasy this year. So next year when we re-up, I'm gonna get back into it. Like I had some quarterback issues in Teal and Steel, and the amount of opportunities I had to pick up a quarterback was there.
Yeah.
And I just never, I wasn't watching it. Didn't really care enough for it because I think I just kind of was like, I'm not gonna win a Teal and Steel. But I had a moment there where I was like,
opposite. I wasn't compared to previous years. I wasn't as locked in as I was before on fantasy either.
Yeah. Well, I meant more like I need to maybe I should care a little more. I think you had so many leagues that you try to care about, but it's hard to manage that. Me, I feel like I just kind of neglected all of them, so I need to step up my game a little bit. I'm gonna be trying to do more trades.
Coming into the new year, there's just other things I feel like I want to focus on a little bit more. Being in 20 leagues is fun, but if I want to make this more of a project that is consistent, not just Teal and Steel, of course, but kick and post content related to fantasy, kick and post content related to football analysis, actual football analysis, hopping into the gaming side of kick and post, doing some movie reviews again, all the stuff we've talked about before.
Rainbow Six Siege coming soon.
Would you stream?
Maybe.
Exactly.
We could talk about it.
Right? Us discussing a schedule for Teal and Steel going forward, because I don't want it to end in the off season. I wanted us to still have our Teal and Steel going and continue that. Getting into covering a lot of these prospects. There's just so much fun aspects of creating content that I want to get into. And being in 20 leagues and not actively being in them hurts that. I want to be able to actively be in my league so I could talk about pickups and drops and trades and
good thought process.
all that stuff. Because when I was locked in on all 20 leagues and balancing it all, I could have made a ton of content out of that. And I just didn't. And ironically, a lot of the leagues I'm in with people I don't know, like, in person, they noticed. They, call me out in group chats and be like, where you been? You haven't been as active. It's like, you're right. So, no offense to those people. I am definitely going to exit. Probably start sending out I'm back out. I'm going to give you all a whole off season to find someone. A lot of these teams do have enough talent on it for them to fill the roster. But I'm going to step back and I'm going to keep kick and post, Teal and Steel. I'm going to do the redraft leagues that I do. Might keep one or two Dynasty leagues that I've been in for a while, but outside of that, I'll probably drop everything else and just try to lock it in. More quality over quantity on that one,
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I think I do about 5. I try to do just 5.
Yeah. It's not even so much the number. It's just about how invested I am.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think
20
with kick and post, Teal and Steel, I'll probably bring back black and yellow. I think it's always kind of fun, more casual.
Yeah.
And then I'll leave room for 2 random ones if everybody invites me or anything. So.
Yeah. Like kick and post Dino, I have an idea now with what I want to do with that team, and I plan to make content surrounding it. I'm pretty much probably going to try to build that from the ground up.
I think for me in kick and post, it's going to be up to my drafting abilities. I need to see where I placed. I think that unfortunately I won a couple of games that really cost me to be a top 3 pick. I was hoping maybe to fall like number 2 or number 3, get like a Marvin Harrison, really beef up my wide receiver room in that league because that's where I'm kind of hurting. I think I'm at pick 4 or 5-ish, so I don't think I'm gonna get him. So I'm gonna have to do some research, see who other receivers I like. I think I have 2 first-round picks, so I might go like receiver, running back. Maybe I'll re-up on a quarterback. Quarterback is always currency.
There's about six candidates coming out, I think.
Yeah. So I think
potential first-round grades and stuff.
I think this is the big one. So I think I need to. I should probably just pick one of those up, one that I like, and then, like you said, quarterback is currency.
Or you don't like. Or one that you don't like.
Pick one that I don't like.
Yeah.
Nah.
In Teal and Steel, I nagged. Well, yeah, I snagged. I drafted Will Levis, and I wasn't a big Will Levis fan.
Oh, that's right. I thought you meant like just purposely go for a guy that you don't like. I was like, oh
no, like
if he falls,
you gotta balance your rosters out, and you're not gonna be right about every player. right? Like I took a share of Quentin Johnston, even though I wasn't really a fan. Came to find out I was right. For now. Will Levis wasn't really a fan, but the measurables was there and his price was low, and the pathway to him starting was there as well. So I took a share of him, and now in the offseason, even if I'm still not a believer, his stock is higher than it was preseason. So
You can move him if you want to.
I could move him.
That's the thing is, I think both Kick and Post and Teal still have 2 first-round picks. So I might try to shoot for maybe 2 different quarterbacks.
My Teal and Steel team is in a very different situation than my Kick and Post team is. So
I agree. I think my Kick and Post team, quarterback-wise, is doing fine. But
that's me, Teal and Steel.
But Teal and Steel is not doing fine. So, but the Teal and Steel team, I have great weapons. I got CeeDee Lamb, I got Diggs, even though he kind of tapered off at the back end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of starting running backs, and I have other pieces that I like there. But
I can make a move. I can make a play and really try to chase the chip this year in Teal and Steel. And Kick and Post, though, I have to, might have to sell some guys who might be on a high. I might have to move some guys that are at the back end of their career and try to get what I could get for them and rebuild. But can start a series with that. I just want to take content a lot more seriously this year.
Yeah.
Be more structured, have more of a plan.
Talking about, do you have any New Year's goals, man? Other than obviously working on the content, making sure it's better. Anything else you got going on?
No.
That's
I'm being honest with it, man. I mean, career wise and what I do in my 9 to 5, I do want to, whatever I do, I try to do the best that I can at it. I want to be a better version of myself where that's concerned. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better friend to people. But that's a consistent year-to-year goal.
Yeah.
I want to focus on passions, though. And I said it last year, and it didn't really work out. I'd say I actually took probably a step back. It started a little bit hot, and then it didn't. But I want to take this a lot more seriously. Every time I feel like we gain some traction, I take 10 steps back. And I keep accumulating more and more stuff to kind of make it easier to do. So just need to step out and do it. Create a structure, hold myself accountable. Find out where I stand with people who want to do it, and then kind of operate around that. But yeah, constant growth, man. What about you?
I really want this to be a big year, for in a lot of different areas, and I think a lot of things that you said, I'm kind of in the same boat. Obviously, my 9 to 5, I want this to be a year where good things happen, do well the job, be a better friend. I think that's something that I can be very wishy-washy about. Be better at texting, be better about communicating with different things, communicating my thoughts more as well. I'm a very internalized person.
I am that as well.
I don't really talk about my emotions or things that may be going wrong. And I obviously, like I said, basically, I want to be a better son to my mom. Be better about texting her back, giving her more phone calls. Also, one thing also, I want to have a fun year. I think that's and I like fun as in like anything bad, but like just spend more time with my friends, make more plans, those type of things. Do things that I enjoy. Try to branch out and do some new things. Like one thing I've been hating on a lot is golf.
I
know we got a funny story about that one, but that's something that I'm kind of interested in. Not really the golfing part, but the getting lit part.
That is a part of it.
But things like that, kind of just doing some new things, man. Just having a good, fun year, a big year, a lot of things to kind of look back at, and I want to be able to say that 2024 was a great year for me in a lot of different areas. I think 2023 was very mellow for me. Like it was very much kind of the same the whole year. Not much change, not much difference. Not really proud of the end result. Even though I have nothing really bad to say, I don't have anything really great to say either. And I think that's something I want to make an adjustment on this year. So
I feel that. I mean, I had my moments in 2023, good and bad. And there are a lot of things that I leave 2023 that I experienced that I want to experience more. However, we have to make it happen. If this weekend pans out where Pittsburgh ends up playing Jacksonville in Jacksonville for a playoff game, we're finding a way to go. I don't care that it's on a Sunday. We're gonna make it out there, even if it's nosebleeds up there, $50 a seat. I don't care. A playoff game is definitely a bucket list thing. Um, Expanding into again different forms of content. I love doing sports, but I've sat down with the wife, and there's other things we like to do as well. She has goals where it comes to content as well, not necessarily like video making, but she's down to help in that regard too. Um, so much to do, so much to do. But 2023 had its again benefits. I'm in a better place financially than I was coming out of 2022
True.
in 2023, thanks to the 9 to 5 growth. I'd say an understanding of who I want to be going forward as a man has changed a lot too. So I plan to just try to grow into that going into this year. So I'll probably drop a video holding myself accountable on what my goals are, especially for this main channel. We're kind of been stagnant on the 454 mark, and that's where I said we had some traction, and then we kind of slowed down. It was, I think, at the beginning of 2022, we were at 100 subscribers, maybe. I don't want to make it out of this year without getting to at least 1,000. So there's a lot of things that need to happen for that to happen. So
I think it's just constant growth. I think that's the main thing. Continue growing as people, as humans, as our 9 to 5, workers, all that kind of stuff. Just continue growing as people is the main focus for me.
For sure.
Also, the basic, man, I could probably lose about 10, 15 pounds, you know what I mean?
That's always in there. And I mean,
you know what I mean? If you're trying to be a little more fit,
I'll add that to the mix as well.
I'm not gonna lie, that's probably not my main priorities, but that's always one of those things that you kind of try to shoot for in the back of your head. I do think I want to be healthier.
Oh no, 100%.
If I don't lose 10, 15 pounds, that's fine. But I think that just overall taking care of my body, taking care of less junk food. Some of my side missions this year. It's not my main missions, but some of my side missions is I want to try to learn Spanish a little bit. Damn it, Lily.
I hope Lily adjusts to seeing strangers and not ruining my videos.
I'm going over results.
We've been slanting the whole time, by the way, but that's fine. We've been tipping sideways. Lily. And then when I'm not cutting you out of the video either with your barking.
But if you know me, you know that I understand Spanish. I just need to learn how to speak it. So I would love to learn how to speak it a little bit. I also want to learn how to be a pretty good cook. At least a serviceable cook. I don't need to be out here whipping it up like him. He's a good cook. You tell him to make it, he can make it happen. I don't know about that for me, but
I do.
Being able to do some things, cook some more at the house when I get off work, learn quick, but nice meals is another one of my side missions.
Cooking more often is my side mission too. It saves money, more grocery shopping.
Yeah, definitely want to save some extra money there.
Being better with finances, I feel like I'm not awful in that regard right now, but decreasing debt. My goal is to potentially own a house by the end of this year. Now we're getting into my business, but
no, that's a goal for you this year. That's a goal for me in the next couple of years. So.
Yeah, housing market should be adjusting in a way where it'll be a good time to buy. So I'm hoping we could jump on that while it's a good time to buy. But if not, finding a little bit more space for the fam, lots of goals this year. But
yeah,
we'll see
I think this year is one of those years I have a lot of hopes and expectations, and want it to be a big one. So, but we'll see.
But got to hold ourselves accountable. So, I think it's good to close on that. Though, what do you think?
I mean, Happy New Year, you guys.
That too. We didn't catch you for a Christmas video, but
we didn't. Merry Christmas. I know we were just talking about ourselves, but hopefully all have a blessed year.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully we all have great memories that we can build throughout this year.
100%.
And feel free to leave in the comments, man. Like anything that y'all, any goals that y'all have, or anything that you agree on. We want to see more people commenting and stuff like that.
100%.
Feel free, man.
And I appreciate the support that we got in the last year as well. A lot of the people from our 9 to 5 actually know what we do outside of our 9 to 5 now. And it's been an interesting transition where that's concerned as well. You know, for those watching, I appreciate y'all. For those
Shout out to you
liking,
guys.
giving your constructive criticism, suggesting things, all that stuff, wanting to be a part of it too. Let's talk. I'm not against you guys getting involved if you guys want to be a part of it too. We just gotta, you gotta show me that it's real, not just a mention because you know that we do it. I'm down. It could be the year of everybody trying to transition into a little bit more outside of the 9 to 5. You gotta have some stuff to spice up life, right? So, we appreciate you. We thank you. Thank you to all 454 who are subscribed. Let's make it to 500 before February. That's my goal. And then 1,000 before the NFL draft.
I like it.
That's in April,
I like it.
right? So, this has been Teal and Steel episode 9. Good luck. I know you don't want to give us good luck, but good luck to the Steelers this week. Hopefully we take care of business against Tennessee.
Nah, look.
No, you hate the Jags. It's cool. Stand on business.
No.
Stand on business. Don't go back.
Let me
Your hate developed
Let me say
on a cold, rainy day in Pittsburgh,
Let me say what I want to say.
and now it's just that.
Let me say what I want to say.
Say what you want to say.
As your friend, I really want you and your team to succeed. I hope the best. If we don't make it, I would love to see you guys make a deep run in the playoffs. I really do mean that. But I will admit, there's another side of me that goes, I hope y'all lose.
Yeah.
And I hope y'all get destroyed.
Stand on business, yeah.
And I can't wait for the Steelers to play you all again and prove that you guys just play dirty.
Oh my
and you
gosh.
guys are just
real talk.
Nah, man. Honestly, good luck to your team. Like I said, do I really want y'all to win? No, but because obviously we need y'all to lose to kind of make the playoffs. Y'all are one of our options to lose. But I would love to see a playoff game between us. So I don't mind y'all winning and Bills lose. That'd be a nice one. So.
This is my. We didn't give you guys parlays because it's been a really cold December. Not just temperature.
Cold December.
Not just temperature wise.
I had to retire for a couple weeks.
And the anytime touchdown parlays were not hitting like they were hitting before. But this is the Teal and Steel parlay of the week. Bills to lose. So Miami plus money in Miami. We'll take that.
Okay.
Jags to win. Steelers to win. Just 3 things. That's your parlay for this week.
Look into that. See where that cooks up.
Yeah, I'm estimating a cool plus 350. So you throw a $10 on it, you win $35. Nothing too crazy, but that's the hope. That's the Teal and Steel parlay. So.
Oh, and sorry, I forgot one more thing, and then we can end this thing. Hey man, shout outs to Macy Rudolph. Ending this year strong. You're a blessing. Thank you, sir. You're the chosen one.
You're the chosen one? We'll see draft season if you're saying the same thing.
Oh yeah, probably not.
I was about to say things might.
Hey, dude, this man tears up the Ravens. He goes in the playoffs and tears it up. Shit. We'll see.
We won't see. The draft season will change that too considerably. Thank y'all for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.